How does a bank really know who's on the other side of an account? The answer is KYC, know your customer. But in practice, screening customer names against global watch lists floods banks with a tidal wave of red flags. Almost all of them false alarms. Today I'll show you how deep reasoning AI, powered by our digital KYC triage agent, can finally help banks cut through the noise and focus on real threats. KYC is all about comparing every customer to public watch lists. To give you an idea, let's break down the typical lists banks use. You'll see it starts with the customer's name, which gets checked against multiple global watch lists. First, there is OFAC SDN, tracking drug cartels and regimes blacklisted by the US government. Then the UN sanctions list flags arms dealers and terror groups on a global scale. And finally, PEP lists politically exposed persons, government officials, their families, and associates at higher risk of corruption. Now, here's the real challenge. Every possible match triggers an alert, sometimes 20,000 in a month at a single bank. And 95% of these are false positives. Analysts are buried in alerts, but the real threats could still be hiding in that pile. That's the challenge we're solving today. Let's walk through what happens today. How analysts handle these KYC alerts manually. It starts the moment a new alert pops up. First, an analyst opens up the alert record in their system. Just navigating a loading screen takes time. Next, they compare the customer's name, date of birth, and country against the watch list entry. Sometimes this is easy, but often the names are similar or there's missing information. So it takes extra effort. Now the analyst goes beyond the basics, searching Google, other databases, maybe even LinkedIn, to find connections. This can take a couple of minutes if details aren't clear. They'll check the transaction context. What was the customer actually doing? Sometimes that explains it. Other times it raises even more questions. Based on all that, the analyst has to decide, is this a true match or just a coincidence? Once they've made a decision, they type up a rationale documenting why they cleared or escalated the alert. Crucial for internal audits and internal reviews. Finally, supervisors might go back and spot check decisions for quality assurance. All in, it takes 3 to 5 minutes per alert. Since most are false alarms, analysts spend most of their time proving customers aren't on the watch list, basically chasing ghosts. Multiply that by thousands, and it is a huge drain on resources. Now let's see how deep reasoning AI and our digital KYC triage agent totally changed the game. As soon as an alert comes in, the KYC triage agent grabs the details and passes them to the Owen model, instantly with no manual work. The Owen model does what an expert would do. It checks all the identifiers and notes, applies regulatory logic, just like a human would, except it never gets tired, and returns a clear risk score, low, medium, or high, plus a written explanation too. If it's low risk, the system closes it out. Only the medium and high risk cases get routed to a human analyst. So your people are focusing on the alerts where their expertise truly matter. This means analysts aren't buried under thousands of low-value alerts anymore. They're using their judgment where it actually counts. Let's see this in action. I'll run 40 sample alerts through the pipeline so you can watch the KYC triage agent and Owen model triage and explain their decisions live. Let's start by looking at a sample KYC alert file, the kind of spreadsheet a bank screening system spits out when a customer triggers an alert. Each row is a separate alert, and you'll see columns for the customer's name, date of birth, and country, as well as the matched watchlist details: name, date of birth, country, and which watchlist program flagged the alert. There is also a transaction note with a bit of context about what the customer was doing at the time. With that in mind, let's walk through the KYC triage agent solution we've built. The first step is the trigger. The agent is triggered by a new email which is, by the way, a very common method for alerts to be delivered. Whenever a new message arrives in a shared KYC inbox with an alert file attached, the agent jumps into action. It pulls out the attachment and logs it, making sure every single alert gets captured and tracked. Next, the agent takes the alert file, which is encoded in base64, and converts it into a plain text string. This makes the data readable and ready for analysis by the AI. From there, the O1 deep reasoning model takes over. The model reviews all the details from the alert, customer info, watchlist data, transaction notes, and produces a thorough analysis, flagging the risk level and summarizing its findings. Once the analysis is ready, the agent sends an email to the KYC analyst with all the results and also generates a PDF report for future reference. So let's fire up the KYC triage agent and see it in action. While the agent is doing its thing, I want to touch on why I chose a deep reasoning model for this workflow. KYC alert triage is a high stakes process. Every decision can have serious compliance, regulatory, and even reputational consequences for the bank. Generic models are fast and good at handling surface level tasks, but they often lack the context and rigor needed for decisions where accuracy is absolutely critical. That's where a deep reasoning model stands out. Instead of just looking for keywords or simple matches, it actually weighs all the details in the alert, looks for inconsistencies or missing information, and can even spot subtle risks that a more generic system might miss. It's built to reason like a subject matter expert would, drawing on rules, best practices, and the nuances of real world compliance work. The result? A much higher accuracy, fewer false positives, and much greater confidence in every alert decision. That's exactly what's needed in high stakes scenarios like this, where both security and regulatory compliance are non negotiable. So while it takes a little longer to process each batch of alerts, the quality and reliability of the analysis makes it well worth the wait. And there it is, the agent has finished. The O1 deep reasoning step took just over a minute and a half, which is expected given the level of careful analysis behind each decision. Now that the agent has finished, let's quickly look at what it produces. You'll start by opening up the detailed analysis PDF report. At the top, you'll see an overall summary of the batch. Right below that, there's a risk distribution graph showing how many alerts were classified as high, medium, or low risk. The main section of the report lists each alert sorted by risk level with a reason column that clearly explains the model's rationale for every decision. In addition to this report, the agent also archives each original alert file to a logs folder for record keeping and sends an instant email notification to the analyst with the result so nothing gets missed. For the final part of the demo, let me show you the actual instructions or prompt that the O1 deep reasoning model uses to analyze these alerts. This is what tells the AI exactly how to score and explain each alert. The prompt starts by putting the model in the role of a senior AML and KYC analyst, and it spells out exactly what to do with the CSV data from our alerts. First, for every alert, the model assigns a risk score, high, medium, or low, based on how closely the customer matches the watch list details. Then for each alert, it writes a short reason, quoting the key matches or mismatches, and always naming which watchlist program was also involved. After going through all the alerts, the model drafts an overall summary and even generates a little bar chart right inside the report showing the risk distribution across high, medium, and low. One of the great things about this prompt is that it's very precise about the format. It tells the model exactly how to structure the HTML for the report, how to use color coding for risk, and even how to sort the alerts. So high-risk cases always appear first. Clear prompts like this are what makes it possible for a deep reasoning model to deliver such accurate, consistent, and explainable results every single time. Now let's talk results, the kind any business leader cares about. With the old manual approach, analysts were buried over 1,200 hours a month spent on 20,000 alerts. That's more than $50,000 a month in labor, mostly wasted on false alarms. With the KYC triage agent and the Owen model handling the heavy lifting, only tricky cases get sent to the person. Analyst hours drop by more than 80%. Labor cost falls to just $8,000. Add a few $100s for the AI call, and the total is just over $8,000 a month. That's $42,000 saved every single month, or $500,000 a year. And with 84% in efficiency gain, your team is finally focused where it matters most. That's the power of smart automation. Less time wasted, less money spent, and your analysts are focused on what really matters. Let's talk about implementation. Today's build was intentionally simple. One mailbox, our KYC triage agent, and a clear decision rubrics. And because it's low code, setup took hours, not weeks. The deep reasoning model runs securely in a private Azure instance. So your data always stays in the tenant and is never used for outside training. And every decision and rationale is fully documented by the AI, giving you a rock-solid audit trail for compliance and regulatory review. So you get the benefit of modern AI without compromising privacy or governance. So here's what I hope you'll take away from today's demo. First, intelligent automation is a real game changer for compliance teams. By automating low-risk alerts, you can reduce your monthly cost by $42,000. That's money that can be put to much better use across your organization. Second, think about all the time your skilled analysts are currently spending on false alarm. With this setup, you can cut those hours by more than 80% and let your team focus on what really matters. Third, you don't need an army of developers to get started. This solution uses low-code tools, so it's fast to deploy and doesn't require a massive IT lift. And finally, you're not sacrificing compliance or oversight. In fact, with everything documented and auditable, you can focus your human expertise on genuine risks and stay ready for any regulatory review. That's how you modernize KYC. Save money, save time, and get better outcomes. If you found this useful, please subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.